Deepening water shortages may no longer be just a service delivery problem, but actually a full-blown disaster. Civil society group Water Can says the crisis has crossed a dangerous line, leaving many residents without reliable access to clean water and even threatening both health and dignity. The organization is urging the national government to declare the city a disaster area in order to fast-track emergency support and better coordination. Water Can already says that those living in the city of Johannesburg are living on day zero. Deputy Minister for Water and Sanitation does join us, but I wanted you to listen to what exactly was said then by Rand Water regarding whether we're anywhere near this day zero. All right, unfortunately, we don't have that bite for you now, and hopefully we can play it for you a little bit later. Let's go speak to the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, David Mahlobo, who joins us now and talk about these ongoing water challenges. Deputy Minister, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it. I can tell you now that there are a lot of residents, not just in Gauteng, in the northwest, whether you go to anywhere from Kwaqwa to the Western Cape, as you've seen in many areas as well. It's so prolific. It's an issue around the country. Where exactly are we getting the situation wrong when it comes to water and sanitation in our country? Is it a DSW? Is it a bulk water supplier issue? Is it a municipal one?
Arabile, thank you so much. President acknowledged last year when he did his State of the Nation address by declaring a national water crisis, that after the country to deal with the issues of load shedding, water was the next issue that had to be dealt with. And in the main, directed Minister Majodina and asked to develop a national water turnaround plan for the entire country. We've been in a position to deal with issues of bulk water supply, which is national water security, and blocking a number of major projects that were actually delayed for more than 10, 15 years, so that they can come on stream and our country does not have a problem of shortage of bulk water by the year 2030. That's why your Lesotho Highlands, the president will be going to Lesotho after SONA with Minister Majodina to open certain aspects of the water that will come through. Your Glen Williams Dam, your Lesotho, your Tzanini Dam, Umkomazi, all those ones are in place. Our biggest Achilles tendon are the municipalities that are having challenges. There are reports by the department called the drop reports, including Auditor General Cocta. Many experts have produced the reports.
Sure.
In the main, we are being caught up that there was not adequate investment in water infrastructure for the growth. Look for an example, the situation in Johannesburg, in Tshwane. There are a lot of good development that have happened over years, but you can see that the bulk infrastructure like reservoirs, the pump stations are not there. If the water system, Arabile, has some problems because it is vulnerable, you don't have enough storage that can keep you for 48 hours to 72 hours. That's why the reforms, we said, ring-fence this money for water. Minister Kotongwane, for these metros that are struggling, has put aside 58 billion rands to create a ring-fence institutional capability for water and electricity so that investors can be able to deal with the funding gap.
Okay,
then
so Deputy Minister,
yes,
sorry, I'm sorry to disturb, because I just want to deal with these issues, otherwise we then get bogged up with some of them. So 58 billion rand is set aside and ring-fenced in order to deal with some of the infrastructure issues. Is that to say then that we would at least have cleared the infrastructure issues by a certain timeline? And if so, what is that timeline?
Arabile, the 58 billion rand is a metro support for trading services that National Treasurer is putting an incentive. For the current backlog, Arabile, we need more than 400 billion rands to that just to deal with the current assets that have actually dropped the reliability of water availability and the issues of non-revenue water in the 105 struggling municipalities. If the reforms are allowed to take place like they were announced by President and ourselves around any issues of ring-fencing, issues of involvement of private sector, SPVs and concessions, we should be able to start to see some stability in some municipalities within 3 to 5 years. But currently, as we stand now, the system in local government is so vulnerable. It must be managed on daily basis
Whoa.
by all our technical teams, like we're doing around the question of Gauteng right now. As we speak, Water and the teams are sitting in the afternoon monitoring the system. But if we don't do what we're supposed to do, the situation is going to get worse. But more importantly, we need to communicate with citizens because they too must have to take certain actions.
So, Deputy Minister, are we saying that this situation is going to persist as it currently stands, where some areas don't have water for a very long period of time, and then it comes back and goes again? We're going to have this situation for at least 3 to 5 years, depending on whether the reforms are implemented or not?
Yes, we should be honest with South Africans. The system, if for an example, we are having a municipality in one of the municipalities in Gauteng, where their non-revenue water is running at 72%. In other words, you have a chance of having water 28% of the time, which then that's the reason why you have an intermittent water supply in certain areas. If we have to be able then to stabilize the current system. Stabilizing it, it means that monitor it on daily basis, fix the leaks, replace the old pipes that are there so that at least when it comes to the availability of water, you can improve from that 28% in one municipality like Mfuleni to about 50% to 80%. But it will be over time because it needs investment, it needs good technical people that will work. But more importantly, the behavior of citizens, especially in Gauteng, where the use of water per individuals is around more than 280 liters per liters per person. While if you compare it to other areas in the world, it's about 170. If the usage is not being managed by those who are high users, it's going to cause us problems.
So what are the chances of getting that 400 billion? That's one. Two, in order to bring down usage, you're going to have to implement your own restrictions, and those restrictions are going to have to be forced onto us, not being made sort of something that we can opt in or opt out of. Does that mean that you're going to be changing regulations as well?
The issue of the 400 billion from traditional financing, from grants and subsidies and from water sales, that money is available, but we just have to deal with the issues of leakages on that money, poor performance, because some of this money gets to be sent back to national fiscals on the basis of underspending. In our own case, the department, we have taken a decision. You don't spend the money, we take the direct grant, we make it an indirect grant, we bring our water boards and other entities, we'll implement the project on your behalf because citizens cannot be subjected to no water on the basis that you don't have capacity. In the meantime, we're also using the money from blended finance, National Treasury, helping with infrastructure fund. We've done it in Pulugwa, we're doing it in a number of areas where we're getting money, but we're also getting money from private sector. I know, for an example, Valga Mahara in the Northern Cape, the mines are contributing. In Northwest, you go to Limpopo. We've done a lot in terms of funding money because we've opened up that particular issue. The issues of governance will be very important where you create something like an SPV. But in the meantime, in issues of restriction, they will have to be applied. But you need to be able to tell the citizens. And if citizens, they continue to waste water, those that have water, you will have to apply penalties like it was done in Cape Town so that at least you can be in a position to change the behavior of citizens. Those that don't have water, government has a responsibility to provide them with water on a temporary basis, like we're helping now as you look at the drought there down in Knysna and other areas. It is our responsibility that will not shy away in supporting these struggling municipalities.
Well, you're currently seeing it, though, happening around the country. Families, the elderly, children, they're all queuing up for hours at the stage, fighting over what is clearly just limited water right now. And residents are even reporting, actually, that the tanker deliveries are erratic, they're unsafe at night, and even insufficient for some of the population. I mean, we've got what some have even talked about is the water tanker mafia as well in place. So you've got one problem, which is the distribution of water because of infrastructure. But on the other side, the delivery of water because of these tankers, etc., also not necessarily helpful. How do we get this right?
We are appealing that those of us who are assigned to lead We must rise to the occasion and the obligation of leadership. In other words, we must be able to ensure that we're steadfast, we follow up our issues. There are decisions of the non-negotiables that Minister Majodin and ourselves we agreed. We said non-revenue water, leaks must be fixed, illegal connection must be done. We must be consistent in each municipality. That's why President to intervene at Tegwini is intervening in Johannesburg, presidential working group. You can see at Tegwini was starting to yield the results. We've made a decision that the tankering business cannot be a permanent feature, is a temporary feature, eliminate the possibility of corruption and malfeasance by insourcing it. And when you insource it, these guys who are then destroying the infrastructure to get the tankers running, you are taking them out if it's government owned. But even if it's government owned, coordinate with citizens. Know when these citizens are going to be available to get the issues of the tankering system and able to help those who are vulnerable, especially the elderly, those that will also be at work.
Sure.
And you have a clear mechanism between councillors and the ward committees. We can be in a position to deal with these particular challenges we face as long as we work together. We're transparent and hold each other accountable for our actions.
So, in fact, we're nowhere near day zero, right? Because Watercan seems to say that, I mean, people in Joburg are already living in day zero conditions. Rand Water that I spoke to in this past weekend saying we're nowhere near it. We can still source water, particularly out of the Val Dam, for example, and all the other bulk water suppliers saying that they can pretty much do the same. We're nowhere near day zero, right?
Arabile, you know, when we talk about day zero, is to say the country from its water balance, there is no water at all. The country, in terms of water balance, was still fine. There are localized deficits, especially in certain parts of the Eastern Cape, Northern Cape and Western Cape, because the dams are very low. But generally, all our dams are full. Our biggest problem, Arabile, is the question of reliability of supply. In South Africa, we've dropped on average to about 67%. In some municipality, like I was making an example, the reliability of getting water is down as 28%. In other words, there will be those that will never get water at all because of the municipal system decay that is there. And our attitude is to improve reliability on many communities, get the current fleet of the water treatment works to be able to work at an optimal level with the support of the technical teams, with tools of trade, the right people. Then reduce the non-revenue water because you can't have a non-revenue water in the country around 48%. Some of the metros here in Gauteng, they are hovering above 50%. In other words, Rand Water gives them more than 5 billion liters a day. More than 2.5 billion
okay.
of those.
All right, Deputy Minister, unfortunately, I'm going to have to, I have to cut it there, unfortunately. But, you know, and one wonders whether then putting in as emergency, putting it as a national disaster would actually help in terms of resources.